This week that a man took over an Aurora City Council meeting using racist and homophobic remarks during the public comment period.
And that kind of got us thinking about where is the line drawn on First Amendment right of free speech, and what does it cover? Our 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor joins us now when we talk about this. And when we talk about the First Amendment itself, there are restrictions, are there not, as to what people can say publicly?
Yeah, there are, and the First Amendment gives us certain protections from the government, just like the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. And the Founding Fathers and the Constitution is very clear that they want to protect these rights, but none of them are absolute. They all have exceptions, including the First Amendment. So, speech that's obscene and immoral, they can restrict. Speech that's likely to incite lawlessness, they can restrict commercial speech. They can limit it based on time, place, and manner. So you can't go, protest the governor at 3 in the morning. So there's all these restrictions, and there is a fine line between, and particularly as it relates to political discourse, the Founding Fathers wanted that to be as expansive as possible. But here, what I heard at that city council meeting was completely out of bounds, and there was an absolute argument that that would not be protected. And I was really disappointed that the city council didn't do anything.
They let it go,
Yes.
and that's what was so upsetting to so many people.
Yes.
So talk about hate speech. Where does that fit into that as far as protected and unprotected, the things you've described?
Right, so hate speech there's a lot of different state laws, municipal laws related to hate speech. And so hate speech is protected to some degree, but there's things like fighting words or true threats or clear and present danger to society, and things that are designed to harass people based on certain characteristics. And what I heard, I listened to the tape, and it was completely offensive. It was very much geared towards, black and brown people. He was saying, crap skinned people, except he used other words I won't say here. And it was filled with hate and vitriol. And to me, it was completely intimidating. And he even said to the city council, "We know your faces and you all will be effed." And so that is an absolute threat. I was shocked that the city council didn't do anything, and they really should have.
So you're talking about now maybe a lesson learned. You would expect them to be at least more prepared, possibly more educated into where they stand or what their responsibilities are in running that meeting.
I think so. And, the reality is they may want to protect the freedom of speech, but take the chance of shutting it down and I guess face the lawsuit. And this stuff it's subjective in a way. The way our laws are evolved and our constitutional law, our common law system, it's very fact-based. But here I definitely think, and you could ask the people who were present if they felt intimidation, if they felt threatened, if it seemed like it was based on these immutable characteristics like your race or things like that. And personally, I absolutely believe it was, and it's exhausting at this point. I mean, we talked about being post-racial after Obama, and we had this racial reconciliation after George Floyd, and here we are. I mean, it just won't end.
And it has happened in the metro area many times, so it's not like this is new and they were shocked by any means. And it's happened really around the country.
Yeah.
But recently, we also saw these racist signs that were posted in Denver by a man who admitted to doing so.
Yes.
He's been charged with a misdemeanor.
Yes.
Do you think that's enough?
No, I don't think that's enough. And I understand why, of course, the DA and the investigators and law enforcement have to make a determination, hey, is there enough to go forward? But, a sign that says blacks in the back of the bus, that is hate speech. That is completely offensive, because you have to look at what was happening at that time when blacks were relegated to the back of the bus. I mean, it was about, we hear this term white supremacy, and it's become sort of muted because it's used so much, but that's what it was about. It was about the degradation. It was this public humiliation, and you look at, calling grown men boy and public lynchings and the back of the bus. It was about the public notion of inferiority. And so here in 2024, to have these signs up, and I thought about Police Chief Ron Thomas, who, as a black man, had to make the decision, hey, we don't have enough to enforce it. He has his official capacities, but as a man, it also, it has an impact on you.
And it's insightful. It's meant to agitate and create reaction like art does.
Yes.
But obviously in a way that most people would interpret as, like I said, to incite.
Right, and now in this sort of political culture that we're in, the discourse, there's so much vitriol, it's so much discord that it does feel like we're going backwards, and it does feel like we're going to a time in the past, and it's painful. I mean, it really does take a toll, and personally, I feel like quite exhausted. You know, it's like, let's move forward from this stuff.
Freedoms are complicated, and we've as a country have been taking advantage of some of those things that we provide as freedoms many times, but we continue to struggle to find those guardrails, those stop signs, and those places where you draw lines, and this might be one of those. Whitney, I know we'll be talking about this again, but thanks for coming in today. It's good to see you.